What is going on, YouTube? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day as always. We're bringing you guys back for another video on the channel. Last video I explained that I was having an issue with my brakes on the truck. They're working, but they're not working as they should. To explain it, it basically feels like a vacuum issue. You can be driving down the road and you hit the brakes, and if you have to hit them like a couple times, the pedal kind of gets soft. So that's what's leading me to believe it's a vacuum issue. But I'm gonna pop the hood real quick. I want to show y'all what I have tried to solve this issue already. And there's actually quite a list of things, which I think I explained a little bit in the last video, but we'll go over it one more time with this vacuum pump stuff. So ever since this brake issue occurred a good month ago probably, the first thing I tried was a master cylinder. That didn't fix it. So I put a brand new brake booster on it. That didn't fix it either. And then I was suspecting that this factory vacuum pump, which is right here, I was suspecting that that was the issue. So after doing some research on it, I found out that they discontinued that part. I actually bought a used one, put it on the truck, still didn't fix it. So I ended up just sending that back and got my money back for it. So now the next option is to try an aftermarket pump that's gonna supply a lot more vacuum pressure. So I got this pump from Summit. It's one of their cheaper vacuum pumps, but I didn't want to buy anything like super crazy expensive. My stepdad actually recommended me this vacuum pump from Summit because he said he installed one before, seemed to work great, so that's why I went with that one. If you guys are curious for the part number on that from Summit, there it is right there. There's the part number. But it was like a few $100, so definitely on the cheaper end of vacuum pumps. They have them, like, I found one on Jegs for like $250, and then they go up to like $1,000, which is ridiculous. Oh, I also got to show you guys the custom bracket that we had made for this vacuum pump. So this is the custom bracket that we had made. Essentially, this thing's gonna sit on here like this, just like that. And this plate is going to sit right down there on the front cross member. There's a flat spot down there. We'll get you guys set up on a time lapse, let y'all check it out as we work. I believe we can move on to dropping this plate down in there, clamp the plate down, mark our holes, and we're gonna drill our holes and go from there. All right guys, so we got the plate, the mounting plate right here, and we got it clamped down to this cross member. Dad's getting ready to drill some holes. Alright guys, so it's looking like we can't really tap the holes straight because there's parts in the way down there. So we're using this bolt, cuts its own threads. Alright guys, so we got the holes threaded underneath the truck. Now what we're gonna do is take and put our vacuum pump on here in these holes. See, we got a bolt, a lock washer, a regular washer, and then on the bottom there's 3 washers stacked so that this screw head that holds the pump to the plate is not hitting on the frame. So alright guys, check it out. So we got the pump mounted right down here. You got an exhaust side and a vacuum side. The vacuum side is gonna tee in to this vacuum line that goes into the intake and it's supposed to go to the brake booster. Alright guys, so here is essentially the finished product for the hose up here. You got your original intake hose, cut it off, put the smaller hose inside of there, silicone it, check valve, There's a little bitty arrow on the check valve, super hard to see. I got it flipped to the back side because we colored the arrow black so we could see it easier. The arrow for the flow is facing towards the intake as the instructions state to do. We got a short piece of hose after the check valve goes into the T. So you got T, T, and then T off at here. And short piece of hose, a smaller hose into the factory size hose, which goes into the original pump. And then this hose comes from here, comes through here, and down here to this pump. Alrighty guys, and just like that, it's all wrapped up. So as you can see down in there, there's the hose running up, and I got the wire and the conduit right over there, and tie wrapped it up here. Hose runs that way. It's hard to see. Hose runs that way, and the wires come back around here next to the battery. Got my leads jumping off. I'll explain that in just a second. Goes underneath all that, comes up right here. All right, so the red is the number 30 pin, which supplies power to the relay. The black goes over to here, hits the 85 pin, and is also tied in to the ground from the vacuum pump. So that's supplying the ground here. And then back here, this yellow wire is the signal wire. That goes to the yellow wire to this alternator right here, because previously I routed it, if you can see that little yellow wire peeking right there, I routed it underneath here and tied it to a wire that has ignition power, so it'll get power when the ignition turns on. And that's what the 86 pin in this relay needs. It's your positive trigger source. So it's essentially just a signal wire that sends 12 volts to here to tell the power from here to give the pump power. And the last pin is the positive from the pump. So there's 4 pins, 87 positive from the device, 85 will be the ground from the pump, and the ground from the battery tied to 85, and then 30 is power from the battery, and 86 is that trigger wire that I was telling y'all about. Yeah guys, came out pretty good, super clean. I mean, as clean as possible. I got a ton of crap ran underneath my hood, but I'm gonna get this thing hooked up. Yep, there it goes. All right guys, so as you can hear, the pump was running. Key's still on, and it stopped running, so that's a good thing. That means it's building up the right amount of vacuum pressure. The pump recognizes automatically when it needs to run and when it doesn't. Alright guys, I'm gonna run it up the driveway real quick and see how the brakes work. I'm defeated once again. I do not know what's wrong with the brakes on this truck. I'm so freaking lost. When I took it out, it was doing the same thing. The vacuum pump was running. Like, everything seemed to be working fine except the brakes. So the brake pedal was doing exactly the same thing it was doing before. The pedal is getting super hard, like it's supposed to be before this stuff happened. My pedal was always, you get a little bit of play and then it tightens up and it's super stiff, and my brakes worked perfect. Now it's like the pedal's like it used to be, but there's no brakes there. So they just barely work. I was pretty sketched out just inching it forward and back into here. That's how bad that they like barely work. All right YouTube, so another day trying to still get these brakes to work. Today I'm actually gonna be jacking the front and the rear of the truck up and putting it on some jack stands. I'm gonna take off all 4 wheels, and once we get those off, I'm gonna get in touch with my stepdad. He wants to come over and check out all the calipers and all the brake lines and stuff, make sure everything's working how it's supposed to. Alright guys, we got all the wheels off, and my stepdad's gonna be on his way here soon to come help me out, check out everything. He don't really like to be on camera though, so I'm not gonna film while he's here. But of course I'll keep you guys updated. Next part we're gonna replace is actually the brake proportioning valve. And basically what it does, creates the proportion of like front and rear braking when you apply the brakes. So previously when my stepdad came over, we were trying different things. We bled the brakes a few times, and one of the times that I bled the brake, as I pumped it up and then he cracked the bleeder screw and my foot sunk to the floor, I heard like a pop noise. So my brake light and my service brake system came up on my dash, and that just kind of gave us a little guess as to what the next thing could be. That part is also one of the only parts that I haven't replaced on the brake system, so we're gonna see if this fixes it. We're thinking that the proportioning, like the valve inside, may have been stuck. We'll get this piece installed. Whenever it gets nice out, I'll give this brakes a test and let y'all know. Alright guys, so it's pretty self-explanatory on how this part hooks up, but I'm gonna come down here and show y'all real quick. These two brake lines, this thing sits down here like this, silver piece over here. So those two brake lines down there go in these two bottom holes. The two on top come out of the master cylinder. Very simple install. So. Woo, picking the camera back up today, YouTube, on the brake video. Gotta get this heat going in here, it's chilly. Turbo. Anyway guys, bringing y'all back on the brake video. So last time I was recording, we had swapped out the brake proportioning valve. After that, I didn't pick up the camera because I was frustrated. Brakes still were not fixed on the truck. But we're gonna go round 2 with the booster. So I'm gonna replace the booster again. Here's the new booster. So my dad already painted it. Looks good, looks like factory paint. So we're gonna get this thing put in, and hopefully the truck will be fixed this time. If not, guys, I'm already at a loss for it, and it's already like super frustrating for me, but I don't know. If this doesn't fix it, then I'll be very confused. All right, guys, we got the second booster on. Moment of truth. We're gonna fire the truck up and see if we got brakes this time. I know this video is getting kind of repetitive. It's just like, oh, I think it's this part, let's replace this. Doesn't fix it. Oh, I think it's this part, let's replace it. Doesn't fix it. So I'm just trying to get this thing fixed. I don't really know what to do. Hopefully it doesn't get too boring for you guys, but I'll get y'all a cold start real quick. Alright guys, I am still at a loss. What to replace next? I have no earthly idea, honestly. The only thing I haven't replaced is like the factory hard lines and the ABS module, so.
Hey! What y'all doing, man?
Alright YouTube, we're back again. Hopefully, sorry about the rain. Hopefully the audio's not too bad. I ordered a used ABS pump. It was like 200 bucks. I got it from carpartsource.com. Great deal, 1-year warranty, 30-day returns. But like I said, it is used, but you can't get the ABS pumps new anymore. I'm gonna hop underneath the truck and show y'all real quick exactly what I'm talking about. So luckily I have a great dad. He went ahead and swapped out the ABS pump while I was at my niece's birthday party. He helps me out a lot on that stuff, so it's already done, the hard part. Now we just gotta bleed the brakes. There's Dad.
What's up?
This is the ABS pump here. And there's 5 brake lines that run into it. You got your rear, and then you got your front left, front right lines going out. And then you got the 2 supply lines coming in from the master cylinder. But since the hard part's already done, getting the pump on there, so we're gonna leave it unplugged and go ahead and bleed the brakes, get all the air out of the system, and then we're gonna plug this up and see how the braking system does. Hopefully my pedal is fixed, because what I think was happening inside of this is there's pistons in there, and I think what was causing my brake pedal issue is that the ABS module was just getting old and it was losing piston strength, essentially. So it was causing me to not have as good of brakes as I was supposed to. We're gonna get this brake system bled and see how it does. If it doesn't do good, then I'm gonna have to borrow a scanner to actually run the ABS module itself. If there's any air stuck in the ABS module, it can activate and cycle the ABS system and actually get the air out. But like I said, he's going to get some brake fluid right now, because we filled the reservoir up, but we're all out. So get some extra and bleed the system. Alright guys, I don't know how well y'all can hear me just because of the rain. Sorry about that again, but we just pumped the brakes up. My freaking legs are sore, but we're gonna fire up the truck and see how it does. Also, we're gonna plug the ABS pump back up first before we test it out. Alright guys, so after just moving it, after bleeding the system, still didn't change anything, so disappointed. But I'm gonna go pick up the scanner that I was talking about from my buddy and see if we can bleed the ABS module, see if that does anything. I borrowed my buddy's scanner. I'll show y'all real quick. It's a snap-on scanner that actually allows you to activate the ABS pump to bleed any air out of it that might be in it. So we figured, why not try that, you know, as a next resort. So there it is right there. Snap-on soulless edge scanner, like a professional scanner that allows you to activate the ABS module. Well, after doing that, still didn't have any brakes proper, and the next thing we wanted to try was to do another new master cylinder again, just to see if that would change anything. And when I bought the new one, the guy at the parts store didn't tell me that there was one for one brake part number, and then there's another one for a different brake part number. So come to find out, the difference between the two is actually the bore size of like the plunger, the piston in the master cylinder. So the one that was original on my truck had a 1 1/4 inch, so 1.25 inch bore on the master cylinder. The one that they sold me had almost a 1.5 inch bore. It was like a 1.46. So when we took the stuff off the truck, we compared them and kind of realized that. So then we took both of them back to the parts store and had them look up the master cylinders for the two different models that they have. And it turns out, like I said, that they sold me the wrong one. So I got the correct one on order today. What I'm hoping is that smaller bore will give more fluid pressure and actually activate the brakes properly. So the one that they sold me had a JH6 brake code, and the one that I was supposed to get is a JC3 or a JC4 brake code. So the JC3, JC4 has the 1 1/4 bore on the master cylinder, and the JH6 has the 1.5 inch or 1.46 inch bore on the master cylinder. But I just wanted to hop in here for a second and let y'all know the differences on the master cylinders. And like I said, if y'all ever take your master cylinder off, or any part really, make sure you take it to the parts store and confirm that you're getting the right thing, because any little difference, you know, could cause issues. I guess like I said, I hope this is the issue. So I will pick you guys back up and let y'all know whether it fixed the issue or not. After that, we got some exciting stuff to do, something that's not a problem. What you doing, man?
Trading.
Trying to get them smarticle particles in.
I'm making $1 million.